Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Lights Out League Racing. We are season 29, race 6, where it is a sprint format, where we're doing one-shot quali, sprint race, one-shot quali, feature race, and we are at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, just outside Milano. And if we have anything like Div 1, we're sure to have a fantastic race in store. The sun is out, it's absolutely shining. And it's, I'm sure it'll be hotting up like the underside of Satan's nutsack. As we see one-shot quali occur. And what this does, it sorts out the men from the boys and the chicken from the egg. Those we found. And the sprint in Div 1. We are underway. Ah, shit. Someone's pressed it. Someone's getting sacked in the face. As we'll quickly jump on, and let's jump on with our championship leader so far, Katamis in the hat. He's on his run down to turn 1 of the Rettifio chicane. Variant del Rettifio, if you want to be precise. Currently running P9, so not doing too well. I'm sure he'll got the older Benja leading the way in the Ferrari with Terry Reds and Benedict on their tails as we go around the Curva Grande and approaching the chicane of turns 4 and 5 of the Regia corners. Up to P13 for the Catman as he approaches the Lesmo's first right-hand. It rides the curb too much as he goes too wide in Valdez. He's kept it within the white lines, thankfully, around the second Lesmo, but that's cost him a few tenths. Down to P16. Benedict, following on from his fine win last week, is currently running pole in the sprint. Sada in the Aston Martin on his debut. Currently going P3. It's all jostling round as we go around the Ascari. 1 or 2 is going to take that better than others. As we see, Lennon's now jumped himself off at the top of the order, and Benja, the one that has is Benedict. And has he invalidated, dropping himself too far? As you see, Kessler's retired from qualifying. Round the Parabolica, Katamis currently running P8, goes behind his teammate. Benja takes pole with a 19 flat, and if I am correct, that's his first pole. As we see, 1 or 2 is still Pudek in the Alpine, who's crosses the line. His first race with us. I think he's messed up somewhere. Managed to keep his lap going though. So Benja does take pole with a 19 flat. Sada joins him on the front row. Sedgwick on his debut. Chest Bowl P3 and Lennon P4. Terry's 5, Benji 6. Sygate P7 ahead of his teammates side by side. And Keyser and May go round off the top 10. Goonerad's P11 with Harry Hale P12 and Krill's 13th. John 14th and Pudek 15th. Disqualifying our Kessler, Wesker, Josh, Benedict and Briddy. And that's some big boys of Wesker, Josh and Benedict, all having to start from the rear for the sprint. And this is what one-shot quali does. It rewards those that hold their nerve, and it looks like it's a dry sprint, which is good. Saw a bit of rain in quali for the race in Div 1. But it's nothing as yet. So Benja will be starting the front. Watched the Div 1 race. Got himself a couple of tips by the looks of it. I don't know what tips you can get from a one-shot quali, but he's best of the rest. And what we'll find now is 1 or 2 drivers just sort out their strategy. Wing there, fuel down, tweak a wing if they need to. And what we did find, that hards was probably the best tire to go on. I don't know, Lennon, I can't see on my side, so we'll just have to investigate it afterwards. I assume it's going to be one of the new boys, which they'll get a throat punch. But I don't know how more we can bloody say. I don't know how more we can say. So let's have a look. So majority deciding to go on the hards. There's 1 or 2 that think that they can make the mediums last. Chessbowl and Lennon are going to look racy off the line. Cygate as well. P7, I hope Cygate can stay up near the top. Definitely well deserves it. And he leads the way. He got pole for the Challenger Championship. And then the Krills, John, Pudek and Kessler all starting on the mediums also. Those big boys at the back choosing tyre length over that launch off the line. I think their pace is strong enough. Benja does lead us round. He comes around the second Lesmo. Oh, the 5.8 kilometre clockwise circuit, 11 corners, 7 to the right and 4 to the left with 2 DRS zones, which won't be active until lap 2. That's if we make it. There's a 50% chance of a safety car, which we didn't see in Div 1. Will we see one in Div 2? There's a 38% chance of a VSC. There shouldn't be any pit stops in the sprint. As we're seeing 1 or 2 drivers just clattering in the formation lap. Shouldn't be happening. As Benja getting some good heat in the tyres, and you expect that for the drivers on the hards. Just try and get as much heat in. As the final car of Briddy coming round out the Ascari. You don't want to be waiting in your pit box too long. It's a 9-lap sprint where everyone's going to be pushing as hard as they can for the handful of points that are on offer. Benja jumps in his pit box with Stim Sedgwick. Setters starting on the front row. Chessbowl P2. Lennon side him with Terry's behind him. He's missed his pit box. Benji 6th, 7th and 8th for the Haas boys. Keys 9th, Magel 10th, Gunnar 11th. I think everyone's just getting in their box, as you can see in the back now. So we'll get back onto the front, lads. As we eat the pizza pie, and it's a 3, a 4, a 5, and it's a lights out, and away we go. It didn't hold long, and it's a good launch off the line from Lennon and Benji gaining some places. Those Chessbowl, Terry's and Cygate all losing places. As we make it round turns 1 and 2, it's looking like it's okay. A bit of wheel banging as expected through the tight chicane, but everyone's made it through. Big loss for Terry's and for Magel. Chessbowl's lost plenty of places as well, so I think they've locked wheels coming out of turn 2. Some of the big boys have missed out. Cygate losing plenty of positions as Exchange at the front of Benja still in the lead of the race. Haas going onto the grass. I'm a poet, I don't know it, of Katamies. Somehow has got himself up into the podium positions. And ahead of Benja, they're side by side going through the second Lesmo, but Lennon's now in the lead of the sprint. And it's all mix and match as Sedders in the second Aston has dropped and going south back into P3. Benedict and Podek at the back. Benedict's found himself at the back. Terry's, I know, we're all crying for Terry's and the Williams. Not a great start to the sprint at all. I'd like to say so. Josh and Krills exchanging places. Coming out of the Ascari as we see Sedders finding his feet again and back ahead of Benjo, who's lost a couple of positions from the start on those hards. Lennon making the use of those mediums as we see Kessler in the second Red Bull. His teammate a couple of positions ahead. Geezer out to P4, almost clattering with Benja, trying to get ahead of him as we see Benji Spider-Man meme forced onto the grass, losing some positions to Gunnar, and Wesker's now found himself up to P5, exchanging places of the Mercedes. Josh now up to P8, but Wesker up to P5 and Keezer, both those guys sneaking their way up. Brady up to P12 from the back of the grid. Good drive from the Alpine. I was getting a challenge there from Krills and Cygate. Cygate just slotting behind the Visa RB. As DRS will now be active. Amberson says the medium tyres are possible. As Josh taking a quick look. Chessbowl gaining a couple of places. And we've seen carbon fibre flying. And Cygate is out of the race. And exchanging blows with Krills, who's lost his wing. There's no safety car there, and Saye's out. That's unfortunate for him. He went down the order, and Lennon still ahead of in the race. Katami's under threat from Sedders. We know Katami's has massive straight line speed, stays ahead. Keys looking at the outside of turn 1, left plenty of space by Sedders. Keys looking at the inside. Has he made it stick? He's just about. They're still side by side around the curve of Grande. I think Sedders is just slightly ahead and maintain that P3 as Benji and Guna. Benji still staying ahead in the Mercedes, ahead of the Red Bull of Guna. It's Noah's Ark 2x2. But some good driving on show. We've just seen carbon fibre flicking our faces, but we've also seen some brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing. Katami's up to P2. And he's going to be pushing Lennon hard. Hey up, Kingma. How you doing, Chief of Fire? Oh, it's centre back. My apologies. I got you confused. Of course it's you. You've been missed on the grid a few weeks, my mate. Good to see you back on track sometime soon. A little drift around the parabolica from Sedders. And these hard boys doing well. I'm not saying hard like they've got massive erections. Hard runners as Chespo pushing hard, getting that fastest lap and getting past Kessler for that bonus. Up to P10 for the Sauber as we see Katami's and Sedders getting past Lennon. Lennon now under threat from Keyser and loses 3 places in the space of a couple of corners. Who's that? It's Harry Hale coming out of turn 2. Of course, the yellow flag doesn't seem to have any damage. He just lost traction coming out of the chicane. Kessler loses another position to the Alpine. Alpine off line, which gets Terry's opportunist. Makes the overtake stick at the first Lesmer. And trying to get some damage limitation from his early mishap. P11 for Williams. Brady losing out on Kessler as well. As we see Lennon lose another position. Are these medium tyres already wearing thin? As Lennon's losing, in the space of 1 lap's lost 4 places. Sedders sticking here with Katami's. What a debut this would be if he can get himself not only a podium but the win. And although it's a sprint, so a win nonetheless. Yeah, Adam says he stole someone's start. P17 got up to P5. Chespo dispatching another Red Bull. And up to P9 for the Sauber. Sedders, is he going to make a move on Katami's round the curve of Grande? This is going to be a brave move. Oh, he does the inside of turn 4. And brilliant overtake from the Aston Martin. He's managed to just keep his car on the track. Italian hand gesture for Pudek. He's just pooed on a boat. Terry's getting past the other Red Bull as well. Into the top 10 now for Williams. He's had good luck coming out of the chicane. Pudek switching his tyres, doesn't need to. Sedders looks like he's going to potentially get a fastest lap as well. He's flying, he's got half a second on Katami's. As Wesker is actually sniffing on Keyser. Oh no, Chespo lost coming out of the Ascari chicane. And all the hard work he's just put in, he's just lost. And has lost a good 4 or 5 positions. Does Pudek know where the track limits are? And he's gone wide out the parabolic as well. He's got no wing. Oh, that's unlucky for Chespo. He's going to have to pit. That's Briddy in the Alpine. Up to P11. Doing very, very well. I think he's... Oh, what's Kessler doing? I don't think the move was on there for the Red Bull. And ends up colliding with Magel. Magel just didn't stop when Kessler's car did. As Benedict and Harry go through. Benji loses out to Benji. Spider-Man meme. Josh on the inside of the first Lesmo, side by side. It's brave. Benji goes losing plenty of room and ends up losing out position. Down to P8 for the pole sitter. Just not managing to find his pace that he did in quali. He held his nerve, but just not got it dialed in at the moment. But he is still in the train for the lead and the podium. Katami's leading the way still on lap 6 out of 9. Can he purr his way to victory? He's got to hold them off down the straight. And this is an ultimate Katami strategy. Pure straight line speed, gets himself ahead. And it's impossible for the guys behind to close the gap even with the DRS. But Sedis is going for it. Has a quick look on the inside of turn 1, but he's not close enough. There you go, and Benedict switching positions. Benedict up to P13 now. Hasn't really done that much practice, he says. That qualifying start wouldn't have helped him work his way up the order. It's benefited the likes of Wesker, who's got himself up to P3 now. It's a big battle at the front for the professional championship, as we got a yellow flag. Pudek already getting lapped on a sprint. Not good, my mate. Have you raced before? Who is this guy? He's got Sedders keeping him honest, and Josh gets himself a track limit, so it won't help his finish. There's Brady up to P10. Gooner's in the gravel. Just like a Gooner, he's bottled it. Don't do a return to track in the middle of everyone though. As Harry Hale goes through. Red Bull's now down near the back of the order. Krill's getting the track limits too. Oh, we've got 3 cars here. Makiza side by side with Lennon. Lennon gets a bump up the backside from Benji. And that front 3 have now broken away on the penultimate sprint lap. And Sedders does finally get ahead of Katami's out of the Regier chicane and takes the lead of the sprint. Benedict and John exchanging positions. Oh, John goes deep and cuts the chicane. And Benedict goes through. John has to let him through, otherwise he'd be gaining an advantage. Brilliant, respectful driving from the Williams. Penalties flying everywhere here, just everyone can't keep it in the track limits. They're pinging. As Keys is just breaking that gap from Lennon, who's got a chasing pack behind him. Is he being distracted from the likes of Benji, who's just taking a quick look at the Parabolica? Sedders starts the final lap of the sprint. Is Katami's going to make a move on the outside of turn 1. They're side by side. Sedders defending hard. Katami's has the inside of turn 2. Both turning well, but Wesker taking a quick look as Benja takes a... Benja's gone wide. He's having to smash through and gets himself some massive penalties. But it's as you were. I don't know what Pudek's doing to get these penalties. As Chespo gets the fastest lap. An extra point for him. But Katami's is leading the way. This is probably one of the only times that it can be taken from him. But Sedders has got a good traction out of the second Lesma. Katami's tries to defend. They're side by side as they approach the Ascari. Who dares wins. A bit of wheel banging. But Katami stays ahead. A good recovery drive from Terry's, but he does have penalty, so we'll see what his position ends up as Wesker. It's a 3-car battle here from the final corner for the sprint. Oh, I don't know if Seda had the corner there. Tried to go for the move, but it's Katami's that'll take the sprint win, followed by Wesker in P2. What a recovery drive from Wesker. Sedders will take P3. He'll be happy with that for his first outing. Giza P4, Lennon P5, Brady P6. Congratulations, Brady. And from back of the order, Benji P7, Josh 8, Terry's 9, Benedict 10, John 11, Magel, Harry 12, Magel 13th, Gooner 14th, Benja 15th with as many penalties. Chespo will come home P16. As we watch Kessler come over the line. And then finally Krills approaching the parabolic and final time. Terry says he did a Verstappen versus Hamilton. Chief of Fire rooting on Chesbol. Chesbol's had a fine season so far. And he's got his cheerleaders watching on. As we go through the sprint grid, Academies take sprint win with Wesker P2 and Sedders on his debut takes P3. And look out from P17 Wesker. Congratulations. Keyser 4, Lennon 5, Briddy P6 from 20. Wow, Benji 7, 18th, Josh 8th from 18th, Terry's P9 and P10 for Benedict from P19. John 11, Harry Hale 12, Magel 13th, Gooner 14th, Benja 15th, Chespo 16th with the fastest lap of 21, Kessler 17th, 18th, Krills, Pudek, and then Sygate, the only DNF. Woo, it's been a tight one. And it's sunshine for quali, for the race. No one said anything about rain in the race, but we shall see. We shall see, shall on the seashore, as I have a slurp. I think Terry's might have had a bit of locking of wheels. Yeah, if that shark is not having a good first outing, and someone's readied up again when we're supposed to have a bit of a gap. But who's your favourite for quali this time round? And as we go again for another one-shot quali, and it's all eyes on Benja. Can he repeat the feat? I have a feeling it might be the bloody shark. And he's going to get booted. But what we will do, let's keep an eye on Wesker, who had a great one-shot dry quali. Yeah, we'll jump on with Wesker, who had a great sprint race and almost got himself that win as he approaches turns 1 or 2 of the Retafia chicane. Good traction out of turn 2 and takes provisional pole with Josh in P2 for the Challenger Championship. Giza, Benji and Terry's and Benja. Benedict's there as well as we go around turn 4 or 5 of the Regia chicane now, where we saw Terry's had some good traction out there to avoid touching the curbs, where it's very easy to spin. Don't go wide, coming out the second Lesmo, open up that DRS. Benja's now back on to the provisional pole again. Can he do double pole, Benja? That would be absolutely something to behold as we approach the Scari after the DRS, where we're going to see plenty of cars DNF. Wesker goes wide and Wesker DNFs. Oh, Wesker. And he's going to have to start from the rear again. Can he get himself back on the podium? That's unlucky for the Sauber driver. But it's between the two Benjis and Benja. And it's Benji this time taking pole with a 19 flat. 300ths ahead of Benja. Benedict's managed to secure himself a lap and start P3. But we lose a few drivers. Brady will start P10, so he better qualifying from the Alpine. But it was tight again from Benji. So Benji takes pole this time. Benja on the front row again, though. Benedict and Sedda Said another great qualifying from the debutant. Terry's P5, Katami's P6. Can he get himself near the front again? Sargate 7th. Brilliant qualifying again from the Haas boys. Lennon 8th, Keys in 9th, and Brady P10. Josh and Chespo side by side. John 13th, Harry Hale 14th with Krills and Pudek. And then we've got a disqualification from Wesker, Guna, Magel and Kessler. So the only big boy really is Wesker. That we need to keep an eye on as the race unfolds. Now, boys, do not ready up for the race. Whoever it will be, you're going to get an absolute smacking because it's not on. But the drivers, we need drivers to be able to sort out their strategies, their fuel loads. And we saw one stop is possible. The front three that won in the Div 1 race all did a one stop, but did nurse their tyres. But plenty of drivers may go for a two stopper. And if we do see a safety car, then that will probably make the decision for some. Now we saw Portuguese be like a stripper skirt and flew off into the distance. Will we see anyone in Div 2 or will it be a tight battle for that race win? Now, those are watching, who do we reckon is going to be on the podium? Who do we reckon is going to win this race? Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I'm just going to have a quick look. I don't think... So, Benji starting on pole. I don't think... It's his fourth pole of the season. I don't think he's got any wins. So let me just clarify that because I'm not 100. As drivers are actually doing what they're bloody told now, thank you. Little bastards. Come on, come on. No, so he doesn't. Benedict, of course, got the race win overall and for the professional championship, and Chespo got the race win for the challenger. But Josh is looking racy. Hasn't won back since Barcelona in race 3. I'll be looking to try and get himself back on track. Is leading the way in the Challenger Championship. Has a bit of a gap. But it's only 17 points between him and Chespo. Katamise leads the way in the Professional Championship. But between the top 5, there's only 12 points. With Kat, Wesker, Lennon, Keyser and Terry's. So it can all be shaken up each week as each week goes by. So it's imperative for each driver to finish as high up as they can. As I can hear the clock ticking. As we get ready for the feature race. Monza in Div 2. With Benji leading us round in the Mercedes. And let's have a look. Different soil choices. So a bit of a split. It looks pretty even, to be fair. So we've got Benji, Katamise, Josh, Chespo, John, Krills, Pudek, Wesker and Magel all starting on the hards. And it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds for them. The likes of Brutus is on the hards. It worked out very well for him. Everyone else starting on the mediums and looking to get a better launch off the line. Of course, yeah. It is normally a strategy, especially if he can get himself up ahead a few cars. Benji leading us round. This has been... Monza's been part of the maiden F1 calendar since 1950. And it was actually... the track was built in 1922. It's one of the fastest tracks on the calendar, especially with its long straights and its hard braking zones. It can be tricky in elements and hard on the tyres, as we discussed. Benji leading us around the 5.8 kilometres clockwise circuit, 11 corners, 7 to the right, 4 to the left, as we come round the final one now with 2 DRS zones, which won't be active until lap 2. Benji are on the front row with Benedict behind. It's a triple Ben! Oh my Christ! How did I not notice that? I've been Benified! Sedders on row 2 with Terry's P5 and Katami's P6. Terry's will be eyeing to his left. Sygate and Lennon on row 4 with Giza and Briddy. Round off the top 10. Josh P11 with Chespol P12. Challenger rivals. John 13th with Harry 14th. Krills, Pudek, Wesker, Guna, Magel and Kessler at the rear. The guy's waving his left arm that can't bend, waving the green flag to let us know we're all good to go. Everyone's in their grid box. Who's going to get a better launch off the line? It's a Domio day, as it's 4, 5. The lights are holding, but it's lights out and away we go. And it's already a slow start from Pudek. Sedders got himself up a position ahead of Benedict. We've got a Haas on the grass of Sygate. I think it's let everyone go. Terry's has a great start up to P4. As everyone looks like they've made it safe and sound through the first couple of corners. As what's happened to Sygate? Why has Sygate dropped down, my man? I'll have to ask him what's gone on with Sygate. As Wesker already up to P13 ahead of John. And Slot is right behind his teammate. Krill's losing out in a couple of places. Struggle with attraction out of the chicane. As Wesker already up ahead of his teammate. So bit of team play in play. As Krill's taking a quick look at Chespo. Oh, was that Harry Hale in the back? Almost getting clouted off by Kessler, who lost a bit of traction as they both approach Ascari. As we see Magel ahead of Guna. The Red Bull's not a great start at all, but it is a good start to Sedders. A repeat of his sprint. A good start to the race. As Magel. Guna turning in on Magel. That was plain to see. Krills and John exchange positions. Krills up to P13. You can't just turn in on people. As Krills losing out again to John. As Chespo side by side with Briddy, who's splitting the Saubers. Briddy having a probably best race of the season so far. Only running P11, but has to succumb to both the Saubers. Gets boxed in by the front one and has to lose that position. Brilliant racing there from the Alpine and for Chespo. As back behind Harry Hill and Magel. Having a battle for P17. And the Ferrari just staying ahead as Kessler goes into the gravel. Has to make sure he doesn't have a unsafe back. I can't speak. As we see the other Red Bull making moves on John up to P14. Make sure it's a safe entry. That's what I was trying to say. As Sedders all over the back of Benji Boy, and was looking to take the lead of the race for the first time with the aid of DRS. Sedders got the fastest lap, chased by Benedict. I think he'll be brave. I think everyone will be pushing hard in Div 2 and won't be managing the tyres as much. And Sedders takes the lead of the race. As Wesker getting past Josh up to P9, followed by his teammate. Italian hand gesture for Sygate. Hey, what are you doing? As Sygate retires from the race. Josh getting himself back ahead of Chespo. This is a battle for the Challenger Championship here. Everyone else ahead is either reserve or a professional. As they're in this train, 4P1. Sedders just breaking that gap. Sedis has proved himself quick, like a teenage girl gossiping. And leads us round, back around the Parabolica. Keys just slightly poor exit out of the Ascari and out of that DRS. Katami's running P6, not managed to get the start that he probably wanted, but still within touching distance of the race win. Lennon will be looking to try and get the overtake done on Keyser, as Chespo does on Josh. Lennon has to stick behind, so good defending from Keyser. Go down to 16th and see Kessler and Magel. Oh, what happened to Magel? Again, giving Magel a 10-second penalty. And he's not happy with that at all. Let's Harry and Kessler go through. Should be back onto Seders. Still got Benji for company, and Benji had a really sticky start to the season, but he's got himself settled now. He's not part of the front pack challenger for the championship. If he keeps putting performances like this in, he'll definitely be in there. And he's in the slipstream here of Seders, as Wesker has a better traction coming out of the Ascari and splits Keyser and Lennon, bringing his teammate with him as well. Chespo with a brilliant performance so far. Won last week, of course, for the Challenger, and is currently leading the way this week. As we see the lead of the race changing hands. Oh, does Seders leave Benji enough room? That's dubious, and Benji's lost a couple of positions to Benja, Benedict and Terry's. As that's actually good respect for Seders there. Has let everyone else back through. Knew that he let force Benji off. And has let Benji back through as well as everyone else. So Benji now leads the race ahead of Benedict and Benji. And I don't think this is going to stay as it was. What's happened to the Red Bull? Is he gone off the track again? Coming out of turn 5. Kessler just struggling to keep it on the track. And keeping it on the track is Krills. Wow. Oh, that's naughty. Hopefully it doesn't force a safety car. Do not retire on the track, Krills. If that forced a safety car, you would be in the naughty books. This car, that is Krills out. Benja leads us down. 2 down, 18 left to go. Now Seders taking a look at Terry's, but Terry's managed to stay ahead. Seders looking at a switchback. Chief of Fire with a bit of intel, saying it was hard to do the one stop. I think the three at the front were nursing their tyres, doing some lifting and coasting, so managed to do it. As Seders gets ahead of Terry's out of turn 4, drifts out of turn 4. And what's happened to Benedict? Down to P7. It's gone wide, I think, Benedict, and has lost a couple of places. Still within the train, though, and that's promoted Wesker. And this battle at front, actually, has brought all the pack behind. Well, yeah, it does, because you're on better tyres. You means you're just picking people off, so... And it was a good strategy. It's just, I think, obviously the front three a lot just better at doing the tyre management. Look at this train, still going, lap 6 of 27. The front two have broken away, but I think Seders will be able to pull the pack along and close that gap, especially if these two start battling. As you see, Seders in the pits, actually. Oh, he's spent the pit lane. Hey, Italian hand gesture for Seders. That won't help his challenge for a podium, as Katami's ahead of Terry's. Wesker taking a look at Terry's. I think Terry's just got to get caught behind Katami's. Slower on the exit. which box Terry's in and push Wesker through. Italian on gesture. I reckon Chespel's going to try a one stop, but it's getting very congested on this first sector. Katamis with a slower launch out of turn 2, which box Terry's in, and Wesker capitalising now to P4. Well, if this isn't a driver of the day performance, I don't know what is, or at least a contender. But these two just pulling away. Chief of Fire rooting on Chespol. Knows he can do a one stop. We'll see. We'll see how those guys at the front do, because he'll probably have to react to how they do. Because if a safety car comes out, which is a high chance, and just be happy with this week's performance after last week. Absolutely hated Bahrain. There's Chespol. I know Lennon and Keyser, same strategy, both pitting then doing a two stop. Not thinking the one stop is possible. Guna going in as well. So not extending if need to. And just still leading the way. Katami's running in P3. He's the cork in the bottle. As we saw in the sprint, it's hard to get past him. Well, yeah, I never know with this game. Sometimes it carries it on, and sometimes it does bring it out. So we've seen a couple of cars go off, and we've seen obviously Krill's DNF, and it hadn't come out. So we'll see. Chespol challenging Benedict here. Benedict just struggling at the moment. He might have slight damage. Doesn't have noticeable damage, but might have slight wing. And Chespol's fan club's watching, so we'll keep an eye, see if he can make a move on the Visa RB driver, on different strategies, of course. And are the medium runners struggling? Which it looks like potentially Benedict is, as Chespol goes on through up to P6. Benedict trying to hold his line, affording each other plenty of room, but this should be Chespol's on the traction out the corner. As Sedda's overtaking Kessler and getting the fastest lap for his reward. Kessler will try and fight back, but won't be able to with Sedda on his fresher tyres. I would have thought those on the mediums now would potentially pit. Benji's been dropped by Benja. Yeah, Chespol just scything his way through. Starting on the hards is definitely the way to go. And we've got an Alpine. It's Pudek. He's pooed himself. And lost traction out of the Ascari. Reserving for us for the first time. Might be just a bit inexperienced. We can have that discussion afterwards. Kessler staying with Magel. 3 cars ahead, all on with penalties. So Kessler will try and make a move before the Ascari, but I don't think he's close enough. So the position is Magel's for now. As Benja pitting. Now that's an interesting call. On the hard, so it's definitely 2 stop for Benja then. Interesting. So are the guys ahead doing a 1 stop? Yeah, I didn't expect that from Benja on the hards, to pit before. And what he doesn't need to do is come out, as Benedict's in the pits now. He's come out ahead of his teammate, so his teammate will hold up guys behind, but he's been jumped by Sedders on the pit stop, so Sedders done the undercut. He's got 3 lap older tyres, but Benja on a different compound should be able to close the gap. Sedders, of course, with that 10-second penalty anyway, so might not hold up those battling for the championship. Pretty running P7. As I said, I think this is the best race of the season so far. Chesball, like he says, closed in on Terry's. Terry's medium tyres are wearing. Chesball just managing the tyres a lot better. You can see he's got so much more grip round the parabolica. Will we see Terry's jump in? Or is Terry's going to try the one-stop? Terry's does go in. Oh no, Terry's. Oh, Callum's not going to let you live that down as Josh goes in as well. So Chesball up to P4 now. Wesker, the only one stuck behind Katamies, now both on the similar strategy. Will they both try and do a one-stop? Ah, Terry's. Yeah, everyone. Everyone's heart sinks when somebody gets a 10-second, because all the hard work that they do. And speaking of hard work, Benji's hard work is wearing thin, as Katamies and Wesker are right on the gearbox. Surely Benji must be trying to one-stop. Otherwise he would have pit already. He's gone wide, so hopefully he gets the track limits for that. That was blatant. He's definitely got to be trying the one-stop. Potentially Briddy as well. I think anything more than this and then the two-stop's not really worth it. As Benji is actually going in now. Will we see Chesball going as well? Chesball's going for the one-stop. We've got a yellow flag. It's a Red Bull. I think it was Kessler on his old mediums. Benji's in the pits. Now it's interesting. Benji's gone through. Cho closing down Sedders. Will he make a move? Later braking in turn one. Left each other plenty of room. I think it just remains as Sedders. Terry's overtaking Giza. Yeah, thanks for joining us, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more for the second half of the race. Kessler's now in the pits. And Nagel going on through, doing the undercut on the Red Bull. Katamies now in the lead of the race after Benji's pit. And these front four, I'd safely say, are going for the one-stop. Sedders and Benja pushing hard, trying to close that gap. As they overtake the lap car. Yeah, Italian hand gesture. Mamma mia! He has sped in the pit lane. Mario! Pudek just checking the grass is warm. In the background, in the forefront, Benja not close enough potentially to make a move as Briddy pitting. Interested time to pit for Benja, for Briddy, but he might be able to hold till the end as the front three carry on through. And this puts Chesball in a really good position. Benji's come out behind Lennon, who pit earlier. He is on a two-stop. Benji will need trying to dispatch Lennon as quick as possible to aid his challenge for the race win. Briddy comes out just behind the Red Bull of Guna. Jump back on with Benji and Lennon. Newcastle beat Tottenham 2-0. Oh. Serious lubrication of the throat. Benja's got himself ahead of Benja. It's the Alpine, I think, of Pudek. It is. Probably just not the pace that we have in this league. He needs a bit more practice. Josh gets himself a track limits. Puts an interesting call. Giza behind Benedict, approaching the Parabolica. Should be easy pickings here for the McLaren. On Benedict. Although Benedict got a better line coming out of the final corner. Geezer won't make that move now, but who does make the move is Benji, ahead of the Aston Martin. Up to P6. Back on Brady, who's battling here with Gunnar. He needs to try and get past us. Oh, did he force him wide? A slight lock of wheels, I think. But no, not that much damage done. Just maybe about a second loss for Brady, but he's closed the gap already. Will Gunnar think that he forced him off and let him past? Or is it just pure pace from Brady on the fresh tyres? Lennon looking in his mirrors, seeing Terry's and Benedict behind with Geezer. Says and Benja, your net leaders who have pit, but will both have to pit again. Pudek's getting more penalties than Bruno Fernandes. Benja, some real straight line speed from the Ferrari. And Said has not been able to overtake as yet. And we've got your front three. And I tell you what, this is an absolute storming performance from Chesbol here. Because he's sticking with the guys in the championship above them. Although his line out of the chicane was crap then. As Brady does finally get past Gunnar. Up to P12 for the Frenchman. And as well, no penalties, so should be able to gain a couple of positions as the grid condenses in the final stint. We're over halfway through, lap 15 of 27. As Terry's has joined this battle for P6. Katami's leading the way, like he has done for the last few laps. Will Wesker try and... He's never been this close. I think the only way that Wesker's going to be able to make a move on Katami's is try and do an undercut. Katami's has got DRS off the lapped car, so Wesker won't be able to overtake. Yes, as Chesbol does go in. Will Chesbol do an undercut? And this will make an interesting... It'll be interesting to see where they come out as Lennon, Benji's gone through, Terry's has gone through. Benedict's gone through, Terry's should be able to go to the end of the race. As Sedders and Benja exchange positions after the chicane. Sedders now into the podium positions as this front two carry on round the Lesmos. This has been a brilliant week here from Katami's. And he's in fine form. He's a championship leader, you know, for both Div 2 and the professional championship. Although he's only got 3 points with Wesker behind him in the professional. As Wesker loses traction, hits the wall. What has he done? He's got a puncture. No, he's got a puncture. He's been pushing too hard. And Wesker's got a puncture. And I bet he's absolutely kicking himself. And Katami's has definitely got to go in the pits now after seeing that. And he does. And 1 or 2 predicted it in the Div 1. But Wesker's got himself a puncture. Sedders goes on through and will take the lead of the race. He'll have to definitely pit again. Benja's going into the pits and trying to do an undercut on Sedders. But this is a brilliant strategy. And the one stop, those who are trying to do the one stop. As Katami's come out ahead of Chesbol. Oh, Katami's has come out. So Chesbol ahead of Katami's. Wesker's still making it round. And he just can't drive. And that's unfortunate from the Salvo, who's doing so well. Lennon, Terry's and Benji. As Lennon goes wide. There's another track limits there for Sedders. As Wesker and Harry Hale both in the pits together. And Wesker, he was doing so well, he's got to get a wing change as well. This is putting Benji in a fine position to take his first race win of the season. Lennon currently running P2, should go to the end of the race. But he's got Terry's and Benedict for company. Sellers is in the pit, definitely doing the two-stopper. And I think those that were trying to do the one, or trying to, that puts very, very respectful driving. Lennon ends up losing a couple of positions, promotes Terry's and Benedict onto the podium now. Lennon on the older tyres, and I don't think Lennon's going to make it. He might have to pit again, you know. There's Chespo, bit of breathing space with Katamise behind. Josh is all over the back of Katamise, which will put him under a bit of pressure. And even Josh, I don't think he'll make it to the end, you know. As we see Guna and Magel both in the pits as well. Both don't want that puncture as Sellers come out behind Giza. Both doing a two-stop. We'll hope to gain some places on some pit stops. Brady 6 seconds behind Josh. And this battle for P5. And we see Lennon pit. He's not going to make it to the end unless he can nurse his tyres, but it's going to be tight. 1.5 seconds between Terry's and Benji. Benedict making the overtake, himself up to P2. And I think these three will be... Oh, what happened with Terry's? Was that a tap from Lennon, or was it a loss of traction? I think only they will know. As Chespo goes through. And what that does for Chespo is it promotes... Oh, Katamise does go through. I was going to say, puts a bit of gap between Chespo and Katamise. Chespo, the leader of the Challenger Championship in this race. And he's got a massive... Well, I wouldn't say massive. He's got a good gap between him and Josh. Josh with a penalty as well. Benja running in. P9 after the pit stops. Bit of open air for him to close the gap on Brady ahead. Two and a half seconds now. Benji with the lead. Benedict has breathing space on Lennon, but Lennon's short. Lennon's got to pit. Lennon has got to pit. And he's got to do it sooner rather than later, and he does now. Otherwise, he would end up the same fate as Wesker. Chespo now into P3. Now, can he stave off the likes of Katamise and Terry's behind? Because if he does, this will be a mega race from Chespo. Josh in the pits as well, so that promotes John up to P2. Giza goes through. Severs goes through. He doesn't. He ends up behind his teammate. So Lennon with the better pit stop strategy. And leaves the Aston Martins in situ. Lennon also without any penalties as such as yet. He's still with Chespo. Benedict trying to follow up from his race win last week in Bahrain. Needs to get a bit of breathing space between him. The yellow flag's the Alpine again. Bit of breathing space between him and Chespo. Chespo absolutely flying on these mediums. Lena says he has fucked Terry's. It did look like that. I can't remember who was with Terry. It was with Benedict, wasn't he? So as Katamise on the outside of turn 1 gets himself up to P3. Both on a similar strategy. That's John in the pits. Italian hand gesture for John. Pizza pie for John in the face. That's Lennon. And John's retiring. He's called it a day. Oh, it's unfortunate, John. You're in a great position, mate. He's probably had to go, so... he's probably had to go because he was in a really good position, John. Lennon ahead of Keys up to P8 now. As Benji gets himself a track limits. So that adds a bit more suspense into his lead. If he gets another one. Ooh, spicy. Chessbowl's not giving up here on Katamise, but we know Katamise is hard to get past on the straight. Chessbowl needs a better launch out of the final corner. He's sticking with Katamise. Can he get past him with DRS? We know Katamise does some brilliant ERS management. And side by side going down to turn one. Surely Katamise has to give up the place. Lock up there from Chessbowl, but it looks like he's gained the position back up to P3 for the Sauber driver. We've got 5 laps to go. And I think this is going to be a great battle between these two. Terry's has just slightly dropped off, a second and a half behind. And he has to be wary for Briddy behind him closing in. 4.1 seconds now. And no penalties. Benja also on those fresh hards, absolutely flying the Ferrari. Terry's might be under threat from losing positions from penalties. Lennon, Keyser and Sader. They're 11 seconds behind, but a McLaren sandwich with this Aston Martin as the bread. We're going to battle for this basically 5-lap sprint now. Benja 1.3 seconds on Briddy. Can they close up? As we got a McLaren. Harry Hay loses traction coming out of turn 2. No loss of position. Wesker's damage limitation for him. Just get some points for his challenge of his championship challenge. Benji's still going round in a comfortable position. Over 3 seconds now. Seders overtaking the McLaren. Slots into P9. It's been a great debut from Seders filling in for Rels, who's missing this week, unfortunately. Oh, John's broadband cut out. Oh, it's a shame, mate. You're doing so well. Got it for you, my mate. 1.3 seconds. Just struggling to close that gap on Briddy to get that DRS. And if they could both just pull closer to Terry's and make a final... I think it's going to be a battle for P5 on the last couple of laps. Keys retaking the position on Seders. I think Seders just lost traction coming out of the second Lesmo because Josh is all over his gearbox now. As we go back up. This battle here for P2 now. Benedict's tyres are wearing 14 lap old. He's going to have to nurse these to the end. He does have a penalty, so he's probably best not battling these too hard. Because if he pushes too hard, there's a risk of a puncture, and then his position will end up in the bin anyway. So he's probably best just letting them go. Not try and defend this, because although they may get a penalty themselves, with 4 laps including this one to go. I know. I'm sorry to hear, John. You're doing brill, mate. You're getting yourself another podium again for your challenger. Got it for you, my mate. Chessbowl and Katamise putting pressure on Benedict. I don't think there's anything Benedict can do down the start finish now. Katamise trying to get himself up to that P2 spot. on the inside of the Parabolica. Oh, little bang of wheels between those two. Which pushes Chessbowl down to P4. Lets Benedict go. Gives Benedict a bit of breathing space. That'll be a POV from both, I think. I couldn't tell from that angle if Katamise could do that or not. He probably would have been better waiting for the DRS as Benja get himself ahead of Briddy. A good fight back from the Ferrari. And 2.5 seconds behind Terry's. John rooting on for his teammate, yeah. And it's British Grand Prix next week, so I'm sure you're absolutely dialed in for that one. Everyone loves Silverstone. Benja closing in on Terry's. About 25 or 27. It's going to be a battle to the end. Terry's struggling on these hard tyres, and he's going to be hopefully not going to risk a puncture either, which is very much what Benedict's under threat from. We did see Callum do 17 laps on the hards in Div 1, but he is very experienced in nursing his tyres, and it's probably letting him get himself track limits, which will put him under threat from the cars behind. He was quite comfortable, but is now for position. As we see Katamise closing in. Will he be close enough to make a move on Benedict? We're on the penultimate lap, so there's no point in doing anything stupid. Well, what a race here from Chessbowl. Surely Pudek's disqualified now, the amount of penalty you've got. It's been a fantastic battle throughout the race. And it's going right to the wire. Call me Idris Elba. I wish I was Idris Elba. Imagine the cock I'd have. Woof! Girth. Engine now just 1.3 seconds behind. He's dropped Briddy, who's just got himself a penalty as well. So he's probably going to settle for his P7. But Benja will want to try and overtake Terry's on the track. He's got 6 lap fresher tyres than Terry's, which means nothing really when you're going that laps. But Terry's is going to have to nurse it to the end. We'll keep an eye on Benedict here. High risk of a punch now. Will Chessbowl make a move on Katamise? We're on the final lap. Josh gets himself another track limits. Chessbowl closing in. It's now or never for the Sauber. Katamise defending from Chessbowl. Oh, Chessbowl just outbraking himself, but no damage done there. Benedict still staying ahead. Benji's got himself a good 6 seconds on Benedict. And what a race Benji's had. As we see Keyser and riding the inside curb setters. Just lost a bit of traction. The side by side coming out of turn 2. Both on the same tyre length. And Setters gets himself up to P9 behind his teammate. Chessbowl fighting hard. Lost of traction out of the corner for Katamise. It's now or never for Chessbowl. I can imagine ERS is going crazy on the Haas. Chessbowl has to slot behind. This is brilliant driving, attack and defence from both. But there has been a brilliant performance from Benji. It's been very consistent. It's been his best race of the season so far. And it's been shown by his performance and takes the race win in Monza. Congratulations to Benji. Benedict will come home line P2, but Katamise will take P2. Chessbowl P3. Benji will come home P4 on penalties. Briddy P5, jumps Benedict, who goes down to P6. Terry's P7. The Aston Martins cross the line. Lennon will come home P8. Sedders P9. Keyser P10. Josh P11. As we see, Gooner P12. He hasn't drove like a goon today. As we wait for his teammate to trickle round. Under threat from Magel behind him. Kessler on those old hards. Kessler cross line. P13, Magel 14th. Wesker will jump up positions, I'm sure. And what could have been up to P14 for Wesker, but what could have been if he pitted a lap earlier. And then Harry Hale. Looks like he's disconnected. We'll wait for his car to trickle round. One stop was the call if you made your tyres last. And I think mediums to hards was probably the way to go if you were doing the one stop. What a race we had, what some battles we had. Went right down to the wire. A little dance there from Benji. Big congratulations to the Mercedes. First race win of the season. Sedda's getting the fastest lap on his debut. Driver of the day goes to Chess Bulba. Of course, it's given by the drivers themselves. As we go to Benji. First race of the season. Catamese takes P2. Another podium for the Haas. Chess Bowl P3 and P1 in the Challenger. But gets himself on the main podium. Big congratulations to Benja. P4 doing the two-stopper. Brilliant pace from him. Brady P5. And best race of the season for him. Benedict P6. Terry's P7. Just losing out. P8 for Lennon. Sedda's P9. And Keys ran off the top 10. Josh 11. Guna P12. Kessler 13th. 14th for Wesker. Again, that puncher, unfortunately. Otherwise, he would have been in contention for the win. Magel 15th, 16th for Harry Hale, 17th Pudok, and then DNFing for Krills, Sygate, and John. Ooh. Yeah, Chessball and Catamese tyres will be literally, I think, maxed. But I think what will be maxed is everyone's performance next week as we head to race 7 to Silverstone, where I'm pretty sure it's the favourite of one of the favourites of nearly every driver on the grid. So please join us then. I'm going to go get some scran and go for a giant piss because my bladder's full. But I'm not full of racing. So I'll see you next week. My name's Alex. It's Lights Out League Racing. Peace out.